The Cavaliers' record losing streak just keeps on rolling on. However, there is some good news in Cleveland, at least for fantasy owners. With Keith Lipscomb, I'm Adam Stanko. Keith, as a longtime Cavaliers fan, I know this hurts you, but Ramon Sessions has been a bright spot.
Oh, he definitely has. You know, when Mo Williams stepped out of the lineup with his hip problem, there was a lot of concerns that, that Ramon Sessions wasn't going to be able to, to match that kind of level from a fantasy standpoint because he doesn't make three-pointers. But the reality is, if you look at his numbers in February in the past 4 games is what it is. Take a look there, almost 20 points per game, 10 assists, 4 rebounds, averaging more than a steal per game. Look at the shooting percentage, 59%. Okay, we know that's not going to continue, but those numbers alone should have him owned. He's only owned in 60% of ESPN leagues still to this point, which is what amazes me. Now, he's not going to help you in threes, like I mentioned, but in 66 career starts, this is a guy who averages 14 points and 6 assists per game. There's really no reason to think that that's not going to continue, and at least until Mo Williams comes back. And even though that may happen this weekend, I think you wait until you see Mo Williams get his minutes back and show that he can handle those minutes before you let Sessions go.
Well, incredibly, Sessions has done this before. We have seen him on bad teams in games that don't matter really turn it on. Brandon Roy is a guy that a lot of people are expecting huge things from as he returns now. He hasn't played since December 15th. Keith, he's coming back from knee surgery. He might be coming back too soon, people are saying. What are your thoughts on Brandon Roy?
Yeah, I can't help but worry that it's too soon for him. I mean, I think that when he comes back into action, he's going to be eased back in when he does return, and I don't think he's going to be able to consistently probe defenses like he normally does. So this is somebody who, I think that means he's going to lead to more jump shots, which is, if you look at his shooting percentage for the season, 40%. And I think that that's part of the reason why he's not able to probe those defenses with his dribble, and he doesn't have that same quickness. The cartilage is not going to grow back in the knees, and that's what concerns me for the long term for Roy. He's being added in a bunch of leagues. He was added in more than 20% of leagues on Tuesday alone, so he's up to about 75%. And while I don't have any problem with that, seeing his ownership numbers go up that high, I just think that, I don't see him having a great season the rest of the way, and I think that he's more of a 14-team league guy, and I don't know. I think this affects LaMarcus Aldridge a little bit. He averaged 25 and 10. While Roy's been out, but I just think that Roy is not somebody that I'm really rushing to pick up right now.
Well, LaMarcus Aldridge has said all the right things about Roy's return, and rightfully so, because if obviously Roy is playing well, then it can help the Blazers. A guy that has found a second career post-injury has been Tracy McGrady of the Detroit Pistons. It's been unbelievable what McGrady has done this year, Keith, and maybe Roy's looking to do the same thing.
Yeah, if Roy averages the kind of numbers that McGrady's averages as a starter, I think that would be good. The most impressive thing about McGrady this season to me is the fact that he hasn't missed a game. I mean, talk about the biggest shock of shocks this year in fantasy. I think that's it for me. In 21 starts, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists per game, and 30 minutes a game. Now, I think with Rodney Stuckey back in the mix, I think that probably is going to change some, because John Kuster's rotations have always been a little bit crazy this season. It's always hard to know who's going to get the minutes there. So I suspect the numbers will come down, and therefore McGrady's going to be that much more volatile. It's going to be very difficult to gauge what you're going to get from him. And also, I worry about the back-to-back nights. He hasn't been nearly as good on back-to-back nights for obvious reasons with the injury history he has. So keep an eye on that. He's got 4 or 5 more coming in the next month or so. And it's just something to keep in mind. Maybe he's more of a matchups play than an everyday play.
Well, a guy that's always consistent, Keith Lipscomb. I'm Adam Stanko. And remember, for all your fantasy news, check out ESPN.com.